always appreciate it.
Pleasure, Kieran.
Finally had some problems with the satellite. It's up now. We've got Tony Podesta joining us, a veteran of Democratic campaigning over the years, and also Bruce Hawker. Tony, to you, first of all, how does this convention compare to the many others that you've seen over the years?
Well, this is my 14th. My first one was in 1964, and they've come in all shapes and sizes. There's always a little bit of fighting about one thing or another at every convention, and we've had that here in the early days. But everybody's come together now and is supporting Secretary Clinton. Broke the glass ceiling when she was nominated. She'll speak later tonight, be introduced by her daughter, Chelsea Clinton, and there'll be an historic moment. The convention's been great. President Obama spoke last night and was heard to complain that he was never going to be the best speaker because he had to listen to his wife on Monday night, who gave probably so far the best speech of the convention.
Yeah, it was an outstanding address. Really stole the show for the first day and beyond that, as you say, Tony. Bruce Hawker, what can we expect tonight? Hillary Clinton to accept the nomination and also her daughter Chelsea to introduce her.
That's right. That'll be obviously the big part of the show. That'll close the show tonight and close the convention. Leading up to that, though, there's going to be a series of speakers talking on issues which the Democrats clearly think are their strong points, dealing with an erratic character like Donald Trump, the military, overseas foreign relations, and, of course, the economy. They're running hard on with an argument that if you were to implement any of Trump's economic prescriptions, then they'd be bankrupting the country and pushing it further and further into debt. So we'll see more and more, I think, of the sorts of attacks that we've seen over the last couple of days, although I don't think it's likely that Hillary Clinton will be spending a lot of time attacking Trump. I think she'll probably want to spend more time talking about her own vision for the United States, reintroducing herself yet again to the American people. It's always been a bit of a challenge for her because she has been so exposed to the American public over 25 years that they feel like they don't need to know anything more about her, but that's going to be her challenge this evening.
And Tony Podesta, as you alluded to, the party much more unified than it has been in the weeks leading up to this convention now, largely due to the role of Bernie Sanders, but the challenge now is to mobilise some of that, or a large chunk of that 13 million votes that supported Sanders throughout the primaries, to get them out, vote and support Clinton now.
Well, I think that Secretary Clinton and Senator Kaine are going to do a great job. They're going to get on a bus. They're doing a rally in Philadelphia tomorrow, and then they're going to get on a bus and drive across Pennsylvania and across Ohio and hit some areas where there are large numbers of students and young people, and I think try to energize the country and especially the young people who overwhelmingly in the early days supported Senator Sanders. I think they're coming to see that the Clinton-Kaine ticket is the way forward, and that Donald Trump is too risky. He doesn't have the skills, the character, the integrity, the honesty to assume the Oval Office. Even this week, since our convention has been going on, he was suggesting that President Putin, his buddy in Moscow, should somehow or other break into the State Department records in order to release Hillary Clinton's emails from when she was Secretary of State. So he has a lot of nutty ideas, and I think the American people will come to see that there's really only one responsible choice for this in this election, and that's Hillary Clinton.
Now, gentlemen, I want to get both of your thoughts on this, and we've discussed it in part in reference to the president yesterday, but he was one, Tony Podesta, first to you, he was one of a number of senior Democratic figures. It was really a barrage yesterday. How important was that, and will it continue to be throughout this campaign, throughout the lead up to November, Tony?
Well, it began even on Monday night with Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders, who both gave full-throated endorsements, and Senator Warren did it again tonight with a group of more than a dozen women senators. They all spoke as one after another as a group about the fact that Hillary Clinton is an effective advocate for women and families, and so I think that there's been I think having President Obama embrace her in the way that he did, having Vice President Biden give a really fantastic speech, and we shouldn't overlook the really personal testimonial that her husband gave her. I mean, it was a very unusual speech at a convention to sort of talk about their courtship and how many times he had to propose to her before he could persuade her that he was the right choice for her. And as President Obama said, there's no one is qualified to be president who's run for president, including Bill Clinton and Barack Obama, as she is right today.
And the gloves certainly off for the vice presidential candidate, the running mate, Tim Kaine, weren't they, Bruce Hawker?
Well, they certainly were. I felt like it was the political equivalent of the artillery barrage before the first day on the Battle of the Somme. One after another, they came out and just really landed heavy blows on Donald Trump's credibility. And I think you're right, Kieran. I think this is going to be something which will have to and will continue right up to Election Day. They really have to make the American public very concerned about the prospect of a Trump presidency, because he's still in there. There's a lot of angry white male votes that are still, for him, and probably will continue to be for him. So they really need to get the vote out and convince a lot of people, particularly young people who aren't necessarily all that wedded to Hillary, even young women, that this is a critically important election campaign. It was one that Carl Bernstein described on CNN today as being a culture war that could determine the way in which the United States goes for the next 50 years. So that's how serious they're regarding this election campaign.
Yeah, we can understand why when you see some of the rhetoric from the opponent of the Democrats. And Tony Podesta, finally, I want to get your reflections for our viewers, if you can, on Chelsea Clinton. She was protected so much by her parents, of course, when they were in the White House growing up. But now as an adult, taking this very important role on a crucial day for her mother's presidential bid, Tony.
Well, I've known her since she was a baby, and she was nurtured and protected by both of her parents, even going back to their days in the Arkansas governor's mansion. And the same thing, of course, she kind of grew up in the White House, but has had a good career and is followed in her mother's footsteps as an advocate for causes that she cares about. And I think people are going to see her tonight. She'll talk to a much larger audience than she ever has before, and I think she'll be an effective. She'll describe her mother in a way that only a daughter can, and I think, and she'll describe the relationship between her mother and her child, and soon to be a second. So Hillary Clinton is running unabashedly as a grandmother who's tough. And skilled and knowledgeable, but she's also a wonderful person and a wonderful human being. And some of the stories from Chelsea will help tell that story.
I very much look forward to that, to watching that, and the speech from the nominee as well, Tony Podesta, veteran Democratic campaigner, also Bruce Hawker. Gentlemen, thank you for your time there from the convention in Philadelphia. We'll talk to you soon.